Hi guys, welcome to another Learning Electronics Repair video. I have yet another GPU here from a subscriber. So this one, we can just get into it, is another GTX 1070. The story with this one is quite a long one, but basically he was given it by a friend who hadn't used it for a long time. It worked. He was doing some sort of stress test on it and it started to artifact and went off. After that he couldn't get a picture. He says he's measured the various resistances and voltages. Everything seems to be okay. He then left it and thinks now the PEX resistance has changed from 50 ohms to 20. Not sure about, because PEX actually normally quite low anyway, and we can check. And now basically he gets 3 bleeps and it's not detected. So that sort of story is what I have with it. So I think the best thing with this is probably just to actually start from the beginning with it. Visual inspection, resistance, voltage, and if everything is there, let's see what it does. So as usual, I will open it up. It's a GTX 1070 Super Jetstream 8 gig. Yeah, that's what it actually is. That's the model. But I'll just zoom down so you can actually see that. So you know exactly what we have here. Get into focus. Okay, so that's the actual model that we have. Now I'll take it apart, as I said, and then let's see what we can see with it. I've taken it apart. So this had a backing plate on, which usually means it's unlikely for any components on the back to be broken off. It has a little switch on the back here, which may be a BIOS select. This chip, I'm pretty sure, is the BIOS 25U4403. And I was thinking, well, there's only one BIOS on here, but I've spotted another chip of the same type on the other side. So it looks like it does have 2 BIOSes. Let's just zoom down on the overhead, have a quick look around. If we spot anything, we can get the microscope and have a closer look. I've zoomed the camera down so we can get a pretty good look at this now. Let's just see if we can spot anything obvious. And all this looks okay. Let's just have a look down here. Don't see anything burnt or obviously damaged. It's just been getting a bit warm. Nah, I think it's okay. Probably the PEX voltage rail, just to guess. We can have a look at this end as well. Yeah, so all looks okay on this side. Let's have a quick look on the other side, which is much easier with the overhead camera than the microscope, because the brackets at the end of the graphics cards means you can't easily focus on it with a microscope, or rather you can, but as you work your way across the board it will go out of focus. Let's have a look here. Because this has the backing plate, it seems unlikely that anything will be actually physically broken here, which is quite common. But we can certainly look for anything that's burnt or otherwise looks distressed. Yeah, looks okay. Let's go over here. Yeah, that looks alright. You have to accept, guys, those of you who are fairly new to the channel maybe, I have no idea what's going to be wrong with this, if I can fix it, if I can not fix it, if there's basically nothing wrong with it. But I do guarantee that every subscriber who sends something for repair, I will make a video anyway, regardless of what I do or do not find. So let's start measuring some resistances on this and see if we can make any conclusions about it. First thing then, 12 volts. Well, that's reading into the kilo ohms, that's okay. And fourth in from the notch, 3.3 into the kilo ohms, quite high kilo ohms. 12 volts coming in over here. Yeah, it's going to the kilo ohms, that's okay. Looks like we have another inductor over here, could be a filter. Well, it's probably a voltage rail, it has a different resistance to the 12, about 889 ohms. Seems to me to be okay, not sure what that voltage actually does, we'll figure it out. Then we have this one down here, this should probably be PEX. 21, yeah, this is where the guy says he thought it read 50 and now it reads 21. 21 seems quite reasonable to me for PEX. We have one here. 27. That could be the RAM phase. Easiest way to tell if it's a RAM phase is just see if I see the same resistance around these capacitors near to the RAM. Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. So that's powering the RAM. Is this Samsung? Yeah, it's Samsung RAM. So around 30 ohms on Samsung is quite normal. So I think that's probably quite reasonable. There's a little one. Oh, I did that last PEX. Yeah, there's another one here. Oh, I think we can get to this side of it. Into that 10 kilo ohms seems okay. And core. So I guess there's all of these. They're all reading basically 0, but it probably isn't 0. This meter in ohms range does tend to read low like that. I'll try the fluke. Somebody mentioned that I should actually use the 40 ohm range on my fluke, which I didn't know I had, or maybe I just forgot that I had. So let's have a look at the fluke. So we'll put this here, and we want the low ohms range. I always said this meter had a resolution of 0.1 of an ohm, but in actual fact it has a resolution of 0.2 of an ohm. Yeah, it's reading 0.14. If we just touch this, I think it will actually calibrate in 0. Yeah, so we got 0. Let's try the V-core on this and see if we can see. 0.2, yeah. But these can actually really read quite low. It's probably similar to the 1070s I was looking at on a previous video actually. They read about 0.2 or 0.16. So I'm quite happy that the GPU is not actually short. Okay. The other place to measure resistances is basically on the PCIe. First of all, I'll just measure the first PCIe link. So when I power this up, I'm going to be using the mining adapter. So if it works on the mining adapter and doesn't work in the slot, I can probably check all the others, but let's have a quick look. So we want to zoom down to do it. Okay, ohms range. So the first PCIe lane is pins 3 and 4 after the slot. Is the meter working? No. Well, the leads fell out. Okay. That's good because I didn't get a reading. Pin 3 after the slot. 0.466. 0.466. Are they shorted together? No. Okay. I can just read one of the other lanes, see if they actually read the same. You can see where the lanes come in. You see the tracks coming down the pairs, yeah? Yeah, 466. 466. So it's reading the same as the other ones, yeah? I mean, if I want to be thorough, I might as well. I can just get across all of them and just make sure. I'm probably on the wrong one. Yeah. There are some ground pins in between. That's a ground. That's one of them. That's the other one, yeah? Next one comes down here somewhere. Okay. I'm just looking for the pairs, basically. Yeah. Move a bit further along. This one. Okay. meters off the shot slightly, sorry about it guys. But so far they're all reading the same. That one. That one. And where's the other ones coming down? Some down here. Yeah. Another one here. Yeah. Again. Okay. Yeah, pair there. Okay. Another one comes down here. Yeah. And the last one. Okay, they all read okay. This side are all protected by the capacitors, so the actually should all read open on this side, and quickest way to check is just to check on the capacitors. Okay. Any reading here means we have a faulty capacitor. Yeah, they're all okay. But there's an extra lane, if you like, on this, the 17th one, which is here, and this is the ref clock. And you'll see this one doesn't go through the capacitors and goes into the GPU. So this can get damaged if you have it back to front of the mining adapter. 796. 796 seems quite reasonable to me. Yeah, they're not shorted together. If we want to check the other lanes, we can do just by going across the top of these capacitors. But because the capacitors are here, normally you wouldn't expect to find a problem. Yeah. Okay. I can just check. They should all read the same. I can't say exactly what they should read, but they should all read the same. I'm sorry, I've knocked the thing again. That's I'm watching what I'm doing rather than watching the screen. Yeah. But all these all read the same, yeah, as I go across them. So we go. Yeah, all reading the same. Or this side. Yeah. So there's no problem there. All the resistances all read good. Let's get a power supply and see what voltage we have on this one. Let's go with the most obvious thing then first, which is V-core. Because if V-core is there, everything else by default will be there. Mining adapter in the right way around. Just to remind you guys always to check that. Okay, power on. Start her up. Do we have any V-core? Yes, we have V-core. So this is going to be getting a little bit warm. Not a lot of heat into it so far. So we can just check the others quickly. Now we can put a heat sink on it. So power up. V-core's 0.8. The little inductor over here. I think it actually detected, you know. 1.8. What's this one over here? Hex, 1 volt, and this one over here, 5 volts. And the last one, not too hot yet. RAM 1.5. I thought RAM was 1.35 on these. Okay, 1.5. I think that actually might have detected, but it could just be because I'm actually using the onboard video at the moment. Let's put a heatsink on, something small, so we can actually just go around this, and let's have a look to see if it does detect. I do in fact have my motherboard set to be using the onboard graphics. I might have been a bit too slow there to get to the BIOS. Let's have a look. Yeah, just go again. So I will switch it to use the PCI slot as a primary display. Then let's try it again. Okay, we're in the BIOS. It's nice and easy on this motherboard. Just go to integrated graphics and just tell it to use PCI slot 1 as the primary display. Save. Okay, let's see if it works. So I've got a HDMI cable plugged into the graphics card. What's it doing? It's not giving any signal. Okay. What I'll do is then I'll boot into Linux off my hard drive. Sorry, you guys are going to tell me off. I'll boot into Linux off my hard drive, and then let's see if we can see the card on Linux and maybe do a RAM test on it. Because I'm not getting a display to do this, I need to go back into the BIOS and tell it to use the integrated graphics as the primary display. And I'll probably have to tell the monitor to use VGA to do that. Is it stopping me from going back in? It might do, in which case I'll just actually remove the graphics card. Well, it's actually giving me, oh no, it's let me in, okay. So let's go back in here and we'll tell it to use integrated graphics. Okay, and now I can get the Linux hard drive. Okay, and rebooted into Linux. I've ordered a capture card, by the way, so I can actually record this properly for you soon, guys, probably here in the next couple of weeks, and then we can actually see this a lot clearer. But at the moment, let's see if the graphics card is there, LSPCI. And the fact is, no, it does not detect. It would be on here as an index 1. There's nothing there, so it's not actually detecting. Next thing we should check then is whether or the processor is accessing the BIOS. Yeah, we can try that. We can also try that BIOS switch and try the other BIOS as well. I'm on pin 1 of the BIOS. Let's start it and let's see if we can see anything. Although it's gone high, but it didn't go low. Let's check again. I'll just turn the time base down slightly. Hopefully we'll see it if anything happens. Again, pin 1. No, it's not accessing the BIOS. We would see some negative pulses here if it was. Again. So it doesn't attempt to access the BIOS, we can say that much of it. But I've just switched this to the other position because there are 2 BIOS chips on here. So let's just be sure in case it only selects the BIOS that it selects on the switch, if you see what I mean. Let's just get the ground. Yeah, we have a ground scope probe. You kind of got a little bit buried. Okay, I found it. Let's try it now. I've changed this setting on that switch. So we'll just go into here, start it. Well, actually that stays low now. So maybe that switch effectively sets one BIOS on the other. Like I thought. Let's go over again to the other setting. Okay. Let's have another look. Yes. Oh, did it do something there? Let's have a look. I think it might have done, you know. Switch her off. Let's just turn the time base down a bit, or rather down a lot. Let's see if we can see it. Okay. No, I can't say anything like that. Let's go the other way with it. Okay. No, I think it's just a bit of noise, you know. I don't think that's actually accessing the BIOS at all. Try again. Yeah. If it was accessing the BIOS, I'd actually see a negative pulse. Yeah. That is not accessing the BIOS. So let's check the 1.8 volts. So this is on pin 8, so this just go up high. Yeah, we have 1.8 volts there. I'm on 1 volt per division, so that was about 1.8. Position it down a little bit actually to get it to do it. Okay. Okay, so it's 1 volts per division. I'm sure you'll see the 1.8 now. Okay. Yeah, a bit less than 2, 1.8. Okay, and on the chip select on pin 1. No, it's not accessing the BIOS. Let's check the clock. So that's on this little thing here. Just see if I can zoom down a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, this funny little silvery gold thing here. Just get onto one of the pins on this. Okay, we've got a system clock. Definitely. Yeah. So we have a clock. It doesn't access the BIOS. This was just falling off slightly, but we'll try it again. We know we have a clock. Yeah. Doesn't access the BIOS. Do we have the reset? So that's on. Just get it so it's actually pushed in, but I can just get on the finger. So the last pin before the notch, okay, that's actually high. This signal is active low, so high means the GPU is not reset and low means it is reset. I've actually turned the power supply off, but it's still reading high. There's probably just the just press the button, discharge the power supply basically. One moment. Right, it's gone low now, yeah? So power on. So that's high, yeah? And that should stay high. Okay? And that stays high. And then we also have the wake signal, which is on the other side. One is reset, one is wake. Again, this should be active high. So if we have a high here, then the GPU is not being reset. Let's have a look. Okay. Just in that last pin before the notch. That's low. So this should go high after I turn on. Yeah. Switch off. Low. So this goes high pretty much straight away after I switch on. There, yeah. So the GPU has not been held and reset, or at least the signal's getting as far as the board. We can have a quick look to see where that goes, or at least check in diode mode if it's going somewhere. Let's have a look. Let's go to get a good ground, make sure we have a good ground connection. Yes, I do have. What do I see here? Well, it appears to be open circuit. Yeah, I mean, it's possible it isn't used. I've got some other 1070s, so I can compare with some others as well. But that appears to be open. On the other side, so get a good ground. Yes, this one just before the slot. Oops, this probe has come a bit loose. I don't like these things. I'm going to get something else. Okay. That also reads open. Let me just compare that with one or two of the other 1070s I have. Okay, this is the one that works but has 140 RAM chip. I'm just waiting for some RAM to replace this with. Let's have a look. Do we see anything on this pin? No, it reads open. It reads the same as the other one. And while I was looking at this card, I was of the impression actually that it's didn't use this signal. No, it's open. So this one, from what I can see, basically, I'll just try this on ohms range as well. I've got power to the GPU, it's not reset, it just doesn't start, it just doesn't do anything. It's like the GPU itself is dead. Even though everything checks out, it just doesn't seem to do anything. It gets warm, but it just doesn't start. I'll have a quick look with the thermal camera just to see if I can actually spot anything, but I don't think I will. Okay, let's have a look. So we can power the card up, have the thermal camera ready. Let's see if anything unusual shows up. Yeah, can we see anything unusual? Okay, let's give it a go then. So we'll just power it up and let's see if we can see anything. So obviously the GPU gets warm, you'd expect. Something else here. That's the little inductor, but it's not very warm. 32 degrees, 34, 37 degrees. Yeah. This is just your RAM, sorry, V-core supply rail. How warm is this GPU getting? 40 degrees, yeah. So it's not really getting particularly warm. It also kind of looks like it's not getting evenly warm either. Let's move this stuff off it. I'd have to say the GPU just isn't running on here, yeah. 38, 39 degrees. So my opinion, this one actually just has effectively a dead GPU. In fact, it's cooling down. The RAM supply is working. Yeah, that's not running. Okay guys, I don't think I can do anything else with this one. I mean, I'd have to say I do appear to have a faulty GPU. All the RAM is cold. Okay, you can see it. And this is kind of like, can I say it's strange because it's not evenly heating up. Yeah, can you see it? Okay guys, I'd have to say this is just a duff GPU that I have here. Try and focus it from this distance. Yeah, you can see it, yeah. And still 40 odd degrees. So guys, as I said at the start, I never know where these videos are going to go till I do them. This one we have a graphics card that all the resistances look basically okay. It powers up, all the voltages are there. The GPU does not try to read the BIOS, it never tries to read the BIOS. The BIOS switch seems to function so that we can see what's happening on the chip select. When that's selected, it just goes high and it stays high. All the PCIe rails coming into the GPU look okay. The clock is running, 25 megahertz clock is definitely running, and it's not reset. Yeah, it's not reset. We can see that on the PCIe. Looking from the thermal camera, my best guess, and it is a bit of a guess on this, is that the GPU is faulty. But it's possible there's some other signal it needs to make it work that I'm not aware of. And I know some of you guys are more specialist GPU repair guys than me. I can certainly find my way around and fix them, but not always. So, as I promised to my subscribers, you send me something to fix, I will publish the video, yeah, regardless of how it turns out. Let's kind of make this open-ended then. So anybody has any other ideas what I can try on this, I'll give you all a few days and I'll just work through all the ideas. I'll do it all on camera so you can all see the results of your ideas. and let's see if together we can get any further with it. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that rather short Learn Electronics Repair video. Get your thinking heads on. Maybe you'll have a 4 AM moment. Maybe I'll have a 4 AM moment. Okay guys, I'll see you soon. Ciao for now.